Hello class, I'm making this video to help you to understand how drawings kind of work together. We have all of these different drawings that I'm sending you that make up most of the drawings for this project. And so we have floor plans, building sections, wall details, and interior elevations, and other types of drawings. And some of you are already aware of this, but let's get into some of the details of it. So when you get these PDF files, know that you can use your mouse button to scroll up and down. And also if you hold Control-Alt, both of them together, and roll the wheel on your mouse, you can actually roll, like zoom up and down. So that's kind of cool to hold your Control key and your Alt key, and then your left mouse button to kind of pan around in these PDF files. So this is the floor plan of the project I'm sending you. If you look around, you'll see all these different details and sections. And like I said, some of you may be familiar with this, but I really need you to understand how to read blueprints. The class book has all these awesome types of construction that you can read through, and hopefully you're picking up a lot of information from the book because there's so much there. And I've created a few videos to show you the site plans and the structural drawings. Well, here I'd like you to understand the overall idea of a set of prints. In case you don't, we need to know that in our field and get your head and your mind and your eyes into the blueprints. There's a whole set of prints that come with the book, so just keep looking at it and keep referencing and plug away at it, and really reach out to me if you have any questions on all of that. So this is the floor plan that I sent you. It's A2-5 is the sheet, and that's what the file is called. It's the classroom level floor plan. If you look closely at this, we have here details that show you what sheet they're on. So for instance, this one is 12, which is number 12, on A11.2. So if you go over to sheet A11.2 and you look for number 12 right here, you'll see that this is the detail for that column. So let's go back. Here's 12 on 11.2 or 11-2. So I'm going to come back here and see that that's the detail for it. Also, we have building sections and wall sections. So if you, for instance, back up a little and take a look at these building sections, you have AA that comes all the way across. You can see it at the bottom of the top. And you have BB, which is a building section here that comes all the way across from left to right. And it says it's on A5.1, 5.1 or 5-1, which is what the file is called. So here I'm going to go ahead and click on A5-1. So here they are. Here's your building section, AA, that goes all the way through the building. It really shows you some detail on the different floors and different heights. So some of the questions are going to be about, what's the elevation level on the classroom level. And so take a look at this building section. It's really nice. It shows you where all the walls are, and really a large section of showing you where the stairs are. And when you go back to the classroom, you can see there's the stairs right there. So the section goes through it. We also have here some interior elevations. So if you take a look at these kind of solid diamond shapes with the number inside, these are interior elevations. So if you want to see what's going on inside one of these project labs, so here's a project lab, L7 project lab, I'm just picking this out, you can see that there are two interior elevations, 17 and 19, on sheet A 10.5 or 10-5. So you'll go over to 10-5 here, or 10.5. I think the reason that they call the file 10-5 is you can't use points. Like period or whatever inside a file name. So the sheet is possibly 10.5, but it's 10-5 we're looking at. And look at all of these interior elevations. So this is 17 and 19 as an example. I'm going to look for here 17 and 19, and you can see that there are the numbers. Here's 17. So that's one of the sides of that room. And here is 19 right here. So there might be a marker board or closets or a coat rack or whatever these things are, a door, and these are interior elevations showing you those walls. So that's what these symbols are here, the interior elevations. We also have other sheets that we can look at, and details that are down here. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 that are on this sheet. Let's take a look at where those are. We would look for a detail that has 2 dash or 2.5 on it as we're looking around on this sheet. It could be on a different sheet. It should say down here where it's at. So it actually tells you exactly where it's at right here at wall at column 5G. So then if it's wall at column 5G, then you come back here and you see these bubbles right here. It's kind of like a map. So we have column bubbles. Here's 5. And here is G, and there it is. 5, there's 5, and there's G, and if I get closer here, it says 3. So it has a little dash there. It really should say 2.5, but because it's on this sheet, they're showing this dash, and that's what that detail is. That detail is on this sheet. So take a look at some of the text that's on your sheet. You're going to really dive in and read things like this operable wall, which is kind of like panels that go back. That's what these lines are. It's kind of like a bifold wall that you can come back. Usually there's a little pocket here, but in this case it's just kind of folding back into the wall. And so that's what this one is. This one's folding back, and this is how it stacks in here. So take a look at some of the notes. These could be possibly some of the questions that are being asked on the final exam or final, questions. Okay. So we also have these building sections that I was already talked to you about. We have the floor plans that have details, then these details are on the sheet. We have these building sections that are AA and BB. We have details that we said if you look at the number, it should say, 12 on A.2. And interior elevations that have those little markers that I was showing you there. And then this sheet, if you look at the name of the sheet, you'll see that it's going to be the tile and carpet floor plan layout or floor pattern layout, but it also has wall types. This is really important to us because sometimes I'll put this on the actual floor plan, the main floor plan, but they pulled out a different floor plan just for the wall types. So here, if you go down and take a look at these little lines that are through the wall and it has a number, those will match and be a part of these wall types here. So if you look at the wall types, we have a lot of different ones, right? So 1 and 2 you can see are the 3.5 inch steel studs with 5/8 inch gypsum wallboard, which is GWB. Gypsum wallboard, both sides full height to structure. So sometimes the wallboard only goes up to the ceiling, a little bit, 6 inches, it says plus 6 or so, 6 inches above the ceiling. Sometimes it goes all the way up for acoustics or for security. Sometimes we do that. But then there are other walls, an 8-inch concrete wall, which is here with no furring. That means it's just a concrete wall with no cover on it, right? We could have an 8-inch concrete wall with 3.5 steel stud, furring on one side, and 5/8 inch gypsum wall board on that side. So take a look. There's that operable wall we were just talking about. So if you look now at this sheet, which is 2-6, all of these walls have a line through it with a number that says exactly what type of wall that is. I've done this several times to call out what kind of walls they are based on this wall type sheet. Usually I'll also draw short little wall sections to show it, but I think the notes will pick it up. And then this is the tile carpet floor pattern layout, where you can really see kind of the design of the pattern of the carpet and the floor itself. And then the last sheet here will be the elevations. These are the outside of it and not a section through it. So basically elevations will show you the types of materials, where the louvers are. And on this sheet, look at this. There's a detail 1. It has a line through it, so you know that based on what they're doing, it's on this sheet. So I'm going to be able to go back to this sheet, and there it is. There's the louver in the brick veneer wall. And this really just shows the header, the top part, and the bottom part of the opening. And then this right here would be the fins of the louver. Here's the louver size. And some notes that tell you what all of this is. So we have this bird screen. Sometimes we have to put a bird screen in there, and some people leave it out, but I've used these a lot of times because this is an open louver right here that goes in to let the air, in. So we also have other details like this brick expansion joint, and the expansion joint will be right down here. There are control joints and expansion joints, and these are control joints. Control joints will help to control basically where the cracks are going to be in the brick. So we already know it's going to crack. We have this joint in there to give it room to crack there, or to make sure it doesn't crack, or if it does, the crack would come into this space right here. So all it really is a way to let the two sections kind of breathe a little bit. You have a little bit of sealant. Sometimes there's a backer rod, just like a foam piece with a little sealant in there, and you see how the brick is separated, and it even has separate ties, brick ties right here. The batt insulation is called out as R19. We have gypsum wall board here on this side with metal studs, steel studs that we're working with. So this elevation shows you the building itself, where the exterior stairs are. There's usually a note here, so pay attention to the fact that some of these sheets do have notes on here telling the contractor certain things that you would need to know. All right, so take a look at the drawings, see how they're related to each other. Know that there's a floor plan with a bunch of different symbols on it that read to different sheets, or this sheet right here, the building sections AA and BB, and sometimes there's a detail right on the drawing itself. So here's the structural steel beam fireproofing. It gives you some fire ratings. Let's see what this one is. This one is fireproofing in the wall column. So we have this 5/8 inch type X gypsum wall board on all these sides that are kind of protecting here this tube steel, which is TS 5x5 column, and the 3.5 by 3.5 with these 1 5/8 steel studs that are kind of holding the drywall. Okay, so the final questions are based on these drawings I'm going to send you. You may have to look at the detail. I might ask you Here, what size drywall is being used in specific detail.